NFL is on the brink of a seismic shift in how players and teams negotiate power. And Micah Parsons just pulled the curtain back on how it all works. Picture this. A star linebacker uses a clever mix of strategy, silence, and subtle leverage to force a trade. All while the league scrambles to figure out what just happened. But here's where it gets controversial. Did he break the rules, or did he simply master the game the NFL didn't even realize was being played? Let's dive into the playbook of this unprecedented move, and why it's likely to spark major changes in the next collective bargaining agreement, CBA. The Green Bay Packers' acquisition of Micah Parsons wasn't just a trade. It was a calculated chess move in a decades-old tradition. From Reggie White to Charles Woodson, the Packers have a history of pairing elite quarterbacks with elite defenders, and this time they struck gold. But the real story isn't about the trade itself. It's about how Parsons, a player with one of the NFL's most explosive talents, turned the current system into his personal advantage, and what that means for the future of player leverage. Here's the breakdown of Parsons' masterclass in negotiation. 1. The silent treatment. Unlike traditional holdouts, where players skip training camp and make their demands public, Parsons chose a subtler approach. He showed up for the season, but refused to practice, creating a cloud of uncertainty around his commitment. By staying silent and letting distractions build, he forced the Cowboys into a defensive position without burning bridges. 2. The injury gambit. Instead of citing contract disputes, a path that would have eventually led to an arbitration showdown, Parsons cited back tightness. Crucially, there was no evidence to suggest this was exaggerated or fake. By framing the issue as a medical concern, he avoided the stigma of holding out while still withholding his performance. 3. The unshakable stance. The Cowboys believed Parsons would eventually compromise. After all, his fifth-year salary was far below market value. But as the season opener loomed, it became clear Parsons wasn't budging. His commitment to securing a fair deal outweighed his desire to play in Week 1. A bold stance few players dare take. 4. The team that blinked. In a move that stunned analysts, the Cowboys traded Parsons in a window they wanted to keep him for 2025. Why? Because the risk of a prolonged standoff over his injury claim was too high. By trading him before the season, Dallas avoided a potential PR nightmare and a possible league investigation into whether his back issue was legitimate. And here's the kicker. Parsons doubled down after the trade. When reporters finally reached him, he casually dropped the line. "Physically, I'm great." That statement sent shockwaves through the league. It wasn't just a PR move. It was a direct nod to the NFL Players Association's NFLPA controversial past. Remember when former NFLPA leaders suggested players could use fake injuries to gain leverage? Parsons didn't just follow that advice, he weaponized it. This isn't just about one player. It's about a system that's ripe for abuse. The 2020 CBA made holdouts harder by penalizing teams for losing players to strikes, but it accidentally created a loophole. Hold-ins. Instead of skipping camp, players can stay in the building and still demand a trade. And this is the part most people miss. The NFL has no clear way to penalize a player for holding in, especially when the injury claim is plausible. At its core, this is a power struggle. The NFL wants to maintain control over the narrative, keeping teams as the ultimate authority. But players like Parsons are proving that even within the rules, they can flip the script. Fully guaranteed contracts, strategic absences, and calculated silence. These aren't just tactics, they're revolutions in miniature. The Cowboys' trade of Parsons wasn't a loss, it was a concession. Jerry Jones claimed the move strengthened Dallas, but the truth is the team wanted to keep him. Parsons stared them down and won. And now the league is scrambling to close the door on this exact scenario. So here's the question. Should the NFLPA be held accountable for advising players to fake injuries? Is Parsons a genius for exploiting a loophole? Or is he a cheater who manipulated the system? The next CBA will likely try to shut this door, but until then, the message is clear. When a player has the talent and the will, the system can be bent, if not broken. What do you think? Sound off in the comments. Is the NFL's power slipping into players' hands? Or is this just a temporary glitch in the system?